What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video I'm going to be doing an early AFL ladder prediction. This is obviously not going to be my official one because I haven't done any planning to this at all. It's literally all going to be spontaneous and I'll be thinking of the positions on the spot. Now, the reason I'm doing this early predictions sort of now in mid-Jan is because I've seen a couple other people, I think Bit of Footy, True Footy, they did their own early ladder predictions. It's almost just free views, but I will be doing my official AFL ladder predictions either end of Feb or early March with a lot more reasoning and thought put into them. But today I just thought I'd give myself my take on what, at this current moment of time, I reckon each team will finish, and I'll be doing it on Tiermaker as well. I just think it's a bit easier for me, really. With the official AFL ladder prediction, it won't be on Tiermaker. It'll be, normal, just sit down video. So, as I said before, I haven't thought this through, so I'm literally just going to do it as it goes. So, I reckon Wooden Spoon, it'd be safe to chuck in North Melbourne. For most people, I think North are going to be winning the Spoon. They've lost a ton of players. They've almost done a complete list redo. New coach, and usually it takes time for the coach to settle in, get used to his players. And yeah, they didn't really pick up too many people from the draft. The trade. They got Stevenson, but they really don't have any key forward. So they won't be scoring a lot at all, North Melbourne. And they got a few nice draft picks, but they take time to develop. So yeah, I think I'll be surprised if North don't win the Spoon. Now 17th, probably Adelaide. Now they were horrible in 2020, and I don't know if they'll be too much better. They'll be better, I think, but they're not going to be anything special at all. I don't really see them doing much. They're still going to, lose most games, I would have to say. They're not going to compete for the finals at all. They'll be competing for the Wooden Spoon. I might even just do each team as we go on. So we might just go with the Lions. I reckon the Lions will finish, or they could almost finish first, but I think they'll be finishing second, I reckon. Now, they could easily finish first. They'll be getting less games at the Gabba, so I think they were very well suited to the, interrupted season in 2020 where there were hubs. They just played every game really in Queensland. But this year, it'll be a little bit different for them. They'll be playing more games interstate. But I don't see them dropping off at all. If anything, I almost see them finishing first. But I'm going to chuck them in second for now. Collingwood. This is a tough one because many people do think they'll drop out of the final. I actually do think they will. Now, I don't think it's just because of the really shocking trade period. I do think that their list isn't great. Like, it's not bad, but they're really struggling with a key forward. Yeah, and I don't know, every year they seem to have a new issue. It's either being injuries, losing plays and scandals like, with Jaden Stevenson. So I just don't see the Pies doing a lot really next year. So that's why I'm going to chuck them probably in this 9 to 13 range. Probably like 9th or 10th. They could make the finals. They will be playing games back at the MCG, so that's obviously going to help. So Carlton, another team that a lot of people think that they will rise to the finals. I think they should, but the question is, will they? Look, they haven't made finals in 2013, and it's really hard to actually back them in coming into a new season because they always disappoint. They should have made finals in 2020, but they blew it. And in 2021, will they? They've got to actually show up. Their first real challenge for them is to beat Richmond round 1, which they haven't done in a while. So yeah, the Blues, they'll definitely be better, but I'm actually going to probably have them above Collingwood at around 9th. I reckon they might just scrape into 9th spot, maybe make finals if they're lucky, but I think they'll finish 9th. All right, Western Bulldogs. Well, they're stacked on midfield. If anything, the Bulldogs do need probably a little bit more depth in the defense. They've got a pretty decent forward line. Bruce needs to step up a lot. If the Dogs would have been the top 4, Bruce really needs to have a good season because he was really poor in 2020. Now, I do think the Dogs will definitely make finals. Question whether being at top 4, I think they'll probably finish 5th or 6th, around that position. They do have a lot of talent, but they can be inconsistent because a lot of their games they lost in 2020 were by pretty big margins. The Bombers, now they had a very disappointing 2020. I didn't think they were going to make finals or anything. In fact, I did actually see them slumping, and I think they will slump again. New coach Ben Rutten, I don't know if he's going to be good for them. They got rid of a few players, but they're not performing at all. They're not a great team. The Bombers, they don't have a great list either. So I'll probably see them finishing 14th or 15th, probably somewhere in that area. So I'll put them above Adelaide. The Freo Dockers. Now this one's a tough one because this could be the most improved side coming into the 2021 season. And I can easily see them making finals. However, it's too tough to call and make that bold prediction seeing the Dockers going to the 8, considering they've been so poor for so long. But I do think they'll rise. They've got a lot of young talent. Sarong, Chera, Brayshaw, they're only going to get better. Obviously, John Longmire's doing good things for them. They're starting to play more of an attacking play style. Like under Ross Lyon, they were definitely really defensive, very boring to watch. But now I actually do enjoy watching a Dockers game. And they could easily make the finals. However, I think they'll probably finish... I reckon they'll finish 10th and the Pies finish 11th. Alright, Geelong. Now, Geelong are going to be good again. I'll be very surprised if they don't make the top 4. They've added in Jeremy Cameron and Isaac Smith. And if they're both firing, Cameron and Hawkins, they can easily kick more than 100 goals between the two. If that's going to happen, then they're going to be a powerhouse for sure. They've got a really good list. They were arguably the best team home and away last year. But are they going to finish minor premiers? I don't know. I think they'll finish second. It's either Brisbane or Geelong, in my opinion, minor premiers. We'll chuck them there for now, but we'll have to have someone in the minor premiers. The Gold Coast Suns, another team that were alright last year. They definitely improved, but as most years for the Suns, they start well and they drop off significantly. Now, will that happen again this year? Well, I don't know if it helps they're going to go back to 20 minutes, because I think I think 16-minute quarters suited the Suns, especially early on, because, you know, they ran out of legs at the end. They ran out of steam. Matt Rowell will be back. He's not going to be the difference between them making finals or not, but it'll be a very handy conclusion. Let's just hope he doesn't injure himself again. But I do see the Suns rising a little bit more. Will they make finals? No, I don't think so. It's probably another year or so for that to happen. But I do see him finishing a little bit higher, maybe in the 12th to 13th range, a little bit below Collingwood. Now the Giants, another team that were very disappointing in 2020. They should have made finals. I thought, you know, after the round 1 bye that they were going to make the top 4 easily. They did the opposite of that. They were not playing to the potential. They still have a pretty good list. I reckon in terms of list, they're probably top 8 in the comp, but, you know, maybe not anymore. They're losing players. They lost Cameron. I think their forward line's going to probably be a bit weak, to be fair. And I'm probably going to chuck the Giants, I wouldn't say 14th to 17th, but they're not making finals. I don't see them bouncing back, I don't think. They'll probably finish 13th. I do see the Suns actually finishing above them. It might just be a poor year for the Giants, to be fair, considering they made the grand final in 2019. But usually when teams lose a grand final the following year, they don't usually recover like the Crows. They lost in 2017, and they definitely haven't recovered. Now the Hawks, another disappointing team in 2020. I really thought they were going to be a decent team, especially after the first few rounds. They look promising. They look like one of the better sides in the comp, but only winning like 1 or 2 games in the last 12 rounds or something like that. Something really poor. So they were disappointing, and their list isn't great at all, to be fair. You know, they've gotten rid of all their old players now. Their list is really young, so they're not they've got a good coach and all, but I don't see them doing much this year at all. They're definitely not going to make finals. I don't think anyone's going to be thinking that, and I'm probably going to chuck them in the 14th to 17th range. I mean, I might even chuck them above Essendon. Those two teams are almost the same in terms of where they're at. Melbourne, I do think they'll continue playing like they did last year, but I reckon they'll improve. They're not going to go back to their 2018 form. In my opinion, that was a fluke, but they've got a really good list. One of the best midfielders in the comp. They've got Ben Brown, handy inclusion. He's going to, if he's firing, he could easily kick more than 40 goals for them, but I don't think they'll be doing a lot of damage come the point into the season. However, I do think they will scrape into the top 8. Probably finish in the 8th spot. Now the Power, a very surprising team last year. They were very, very impressive, finishing first and only a goal away from finishing in a grand final. But I don't know if they'll be as good as they were last year, especially considering that they were one of the few teams who really got their home games. They did play a lot of their games at the Adelaide Oval, whilst all of the Vic teams, they did have to travel. So I do think that might be a reason why I think that the Power might drop. But I definitely still see him finishing in the finals. But I will put him probably below the Dogs. 6th or 7th, I'm going to have the Power. I know it's a bit of a slump, but I don't know if they're going to, you know, perform as well as they did. We'll just have to wait and see if they really do that. Now, Richmond, you know, they were impressive again in 2020. They won the flag. I don't think they'll finish minor premiers. You know, every year they seem to do all right in the home and away season and only start performing, you know, when they really need to, you know, late into the home and away season, which is where they finally start actually playing their best footy come finals. So yeah, I don't think they'll finish first. I think they'll probably finish 3rd. They'll finish top 4. Like, I'll be very shocked if they don't finish in the top 4. Now the Saints are arguably the most improved side last year, I would have to say. I'm very happy with the way they played, and honestly, I see them only doing better. They picked up 3 handy inclusions in Crouch, Higgins, and they also picked up McKernan. So, you know, they're going to be a good side next year. They could easily make top 4. However, their draw is one of the toughest in the comp, if not the toughest, which sucks. I don't know why we had the toughest draw in the comp. So because of that, I don't see us finishing the top 4. But I'm going to put us above Bulldogs, probably in that 5th position. The Swans, another team that I don't reckon will do too well at all in the 2020 season. I think they'll probably be better than Hawthorn and Essendon, so I'll chuck him in the 14th position. But another team that, still needs time to develop. But they could easily make the finals in, maybe even 1 or 2 years. And the Eagles, another team who were, again, disappointing in the 2020 season. They finished 5th. They got kicked out first round. And I almost see them doing something similar. Will they make top 4 or will they slide down to 7th? Who's going to finish higher, the Eagles or the Power? Because you can't really write off the Eagles, and they're not going to have hubs again, which is something to consider. So I might almost scrape the Eagles in the top 4. But now I've got to chuck someone in the minor premiers. So I'm going to actually go out on a limb and go the Lions as minor premiers, even though the Cats have almost as much of a chance to do so. I have the Cats 2nd, Tigers 3rd. I do think Saints and Bulldogs will finish 5th and 6th, so it's between the Eagles and the Power in finishing 4th or 7th. I might almost just keep it as that. Have the Eagles scrape to the top 4 and be a little bit harsh on the Power, finishing 7th. And I'm pretty happy with the rest. The Dockers finishing 10th. And North Melbourne has a wooden spoon. So yeah, there you go. That's my early AFL ladder prediction. Obviously not a proper ladder predictions, considering that I'm doing this on TierMaker. And I did have to think of all of these on the spot. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, because I'll be getting a lot of AFL content out throughout the year, so you wouldn't want to miss out on the content. It's only going to be getting better. The next video will be the weekly vlog, which will be out on the Monday, so stay tuned for that. Probably one of the better weekly vlogs I've ever done, so yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys soon in my next video.